You're lying in bed, headphones on, watching a video of someone gently tapping their fingernails against a glass bottle. The sound is crisp, precise, almost musical. Then they switch to whispering, soft, deliberate words that seem to travel directly into your brain. Suddenly, you feel it. A warm, tingling sensation that starts at the crown of your head and cascades down your spine like champagne bubbles made of pure relaxation. Your shoulders drop, your breathing deepens. The stress of the day melts away as if it never existed. You've just experienced ASMR, Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, and you're part of a phenomenon that connects millions of people around the world in their search for peace, comfort, and those elusive brain tingles. Did you know that ASMR videos collectively receive billions of views each year, yet the term itself was only coined in 2010? Or that scientists have discovered ASMR activates the same brain regions associated with social bonding and emotional regulation. Tonight on Midnight Deep Dive, we're exploring the mysterious world of ASMR. We'll journey through the diverse universe of triggers, meet the artists who have turned tingles into their life's work, and discover how this phenomenon is quietly revolutionizing our understanding of stress relief and human connection in the digital age. So settle in, find that position where your body can relax, and let yourself drift peacefully as we uncover the science, art, and surprising history of the tingles that have captivated millions. The story of ASMR begins not in a laboratory or university, but in the quiet corners of the early internet. Those digital spaces where people gathered to share experiences they couldn't quite explain and didn't yet have words to describe. Imagine forums in the mid-2000s, message boards where strangers cautiously typed out confessions. Does anyone else get this weird tingling feeling when they hear whispering? Or am I the only one who gets relaxed and tingly watching someone fold towels? For years, these individuals thought they were alone in their experiences. They described the sensation in creative ways. Brain tingles, head orgasms, brain massage, that good feeling. Searching for language to capture something that seemed almost impossible to articulate. Some remembered experiencing it as children during eye exams when the doctor would speak softly and move slowly. Others recalled it happening during haircuts, or when a teacher would give them individual attention, leaning close to help with homework. The breakthrough moment came in 2007 when a health-related internet forum saw a discussion thread titled, "Weird Sensation Feels Good." The original poster described experiencing a pleasurable tingling sensation triggered by specific sounds and scenarios, particularly those involving personal attention. The responses flooded in, hundreds, then thousands of people sharing nearly identical experiences. Suddenly, these isolated individuals realized they were part of something much larger. They weren't weird or broken. They were experiencing a genuine phenomenon that affected countless others. But the community still lacked a name for their shared experience. Various terms circulated: attention-induced head orgasm and attention-induced observant euphoria among them. But nothing quite captured the essence without being misleading or awkward. Then, in 2010, a cybersecurity professional named Jennifer Allen created a Facebook group and proposed a new term: Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. It was scientific sounding enough to be taken seriously, yet accessible enough to gain traction. The name stuck, and with it came legitimacy. The acronym ASMR provided a shorthand that people could search for, share, and discuss without embarrassment. Within months, YouTube creators who had been making relaxation videos without knowing about ASMR discovered they'd been creating ASMR content all along. Viewers who'd been quietly enjoying these videos suddenly had a community and a vocabulary to describe their experiences. The explosion was remarkable. In 2009, there were perhaps a dozen YouTube channels creating content that could be classified as ASMR, though they didn't use that term. By 2012, there were hundreds. By 2015, thousands. The ASMR subreddit, created in 2011, grew to become one of the platform's most active communities. What had been a scattered, disconnected group of individuals had transformed into a global phenomenon with its own language, culture, and rapidly growing body of content. The early ASMR community developed organically, with creators experimenting to discover what triggered the strongest responses. They whispered into microphones, tapped on objects, created role-play scenarios mimicking spa visits and doctor's appointments. The production quality varied wildly. Some videos were shot on webcams in messy bedrooms, while others showed more polish and planning. But quality mattered less than authenticity and the ability to trigger that coveted tingling sensation. What's particularly fascinating is how this community recognized and validated an experience that mainstream culture had overlooked. For decades, possibly centuries, people had been experiencing ASMR without knowing others shared the sensation, or that it might have any significance. The internet provided the connective tissue that allowed these isolated experiences to coalesce into a recognized phenomenon. It's a reminder that the digital age, for all its challenges, can also create spaces for people to find community around the most unexpected shared experiences. The mainstream media took notice around 2013, with major publications running features on this strange new internet trend, where millions of people watched videos of whispering and tapping. Some coverage was dismissive or sensationalized, but increasingly, journalists approached ASMR with genuine curiosity. Television shows began featuring ASMR segments. Celebrities revealed they experienced tingles. Advertisers recognized ASMR's potential for creating positive brand associations. By the late 2010s, ASMR had achieved something remarkable. It had gone from an unnamed sensation whispered about in forums to a recognized phenomenon with mainstream acceptance, commercial applications, and growing scientific credibility. Major brands created ASMR advertisements. Luxury hotels offered ASMR experiences. Spotify and other streaming platforms developed ASMR-specific categories. What began as a handful of people hesitantly describing a weird feeling had blossomed into a cultural movement that would change how millions of people approached relaxation and self-care. Before YouTube existed, before anyone had coined the term ASMR, humans were experiencing the tingles. If we could travel back through history, we'd discover that people have always sought and created the conditions that trigger these pleasurable sensory responses. They just didn't have a name for what they were experiencing or a framework for understanding it. Consider the traditional barber shop, that masculine sanctuary where men went not just for grooming, but for an experience. The ritual was precise and unhurried. The careful draping of the cape, the sound of scissors snipping near the ears, the gentle touch of a straight razor against skin, the soft brush whisking away stray hairs. Barbers spoke in low, measured tones, their movements deliberate and focused. For many men, the barber shop visit was one of the few times they received sustained, gentle, personal attention. The tingles they experienced, that was ASMR, though nobody called it that. The hot towel shave, in particular, created perfect conditions for triggering ASMR. The warmth relaxing facial muscles, the gentle application of lather with a soft brush, the careful scraping sound of the razor, the barber's focused attention on each section of face and neck, all combined to create a multisensory experience that could reliably produce those characteristic tingling sensations. Men would leave the barber shop feeling not just groomed, but profoundly relaxed, almost meditative. In East Asian cultures, ear cleaning has been practiced for centuries as both a hygienic necessity and a deeply relaxing ritual. Traditional ear cleaning salons exist throughout Japan, where specialists use bamboo tools to gently clean clients' ears while they rest on pillows. The process involves soft scraping sounds, gentle touches, and close personal attention. A perfect ASMR scenario. The practitioners speak in hushed tones, their movements slow and precise. Clients often report feeling so relaxed they drift into sleep-like states. These ear-cleaning experiences, documented in Japanese literature and art for hundreds of years, represent clear historical examples of ASMR triggering, even if the culture lacked the specific terminology we use today. Libraries have long served as accidental ASMR sanctuaries. The enforced quiet, the sound of pages turning, the whisper of the librarian helping patrons find books, the soft footsteps on carpet, the gentle click of stamps on checkout cards, all created an environment rich in ASMR triggers. For generations of students and readers, libraries provided not just access to knowledge, but also sensory experiences that promoted calm and focus. The traditional librarian stereotype, soft-spoken, attentive, moving quietly through the stacks, perfectly embodied the personal attention qualities that trigger ASMR. Religious and spiritual traditions have utilized ASMR-inducing techniques for millennia, though they understood these practices through theological rather than neurological frameworks. The rhythmic chanting in Buddhist temples, performed in low, resonant tones, creates auditory patterns that many find deeply relaxing. The gentle ringing of temple bells, the soft rustling of prayer beads, the focused attention during meditation instruction, all contain elements that can trigger ASMR responses. Christian monastic traditions incorporated similar elements. The whispered prayers during Compline services, the soft singing of Gregorian chants, the quiet footsteps of monks moving through cloisters, the gentle sounds of pages turning during scripture reading. These created environments where sensory experiences supported spiritual contemplation. Monks and nuns spoke of these practices, leading to profound states of peace and relaxation, descriptions that align remarkably well with modern accounts of ASMR experiences. The Islamic call to prayer, particularly the soft, melodious recitation of the Quran, has been described by many as triggering tingling sensations and deep relaxation. The careful pronunciation, the rhythmic patterns, the devotional attention, all contribute to experiences that likely involve ASMR responses, understood within the religious framework as spiritual connection rather than neurological phenomenon. Traditional healing practices across cultures have incorporated touch, sound, and attention in ways that align with ASMR triggers. Native American healing ceremonies often involved soft drumming, chanting, and gentle touch. Traditional Chinese medicine includes practices like gua sha, where smooth tools are gently scraped across skin, that create both the physical sensation and characteristic sounds that can trigger ASMR. Ayurvedic head massage, practiced in India for thousands of years, combines gentle scalp stimulation with oil application and soft sounds that frequently produce tingling sensations. The art of storytelling, practiced around fires and in quiet rooms throughout human history, often involved the kind of soft, engaging vocal delivery that triggers ASMR. The village storyteller who could hold an audience captive with whispered tales, the grandmother reading bedtime stories in gentle tones, the elder sharing wisdom in hushed, intimate settings. All were creating conditions for ASMR, even if nobody recognized the neurological dimensions of what was happening. Victorian-era practices of magnetic healing and mesmerism frequently involved the kind of close personal attention, gentle hand movements, and soft vocal delivery that we now recognize as ASMR triggers. While the theoretical frameworks these practitioners used were scientifically questionable, the relaxation responses they induced were real. Patients reported tingling sensations, profound calm, and altered states of consciousness, likely experiencing ASMR triggered by the practitioner's focused attention and gentle approach. Even the simple act of having one's hair brushed, a universal human experience across cultures and eras, represents an ASMR-rich activity. The gentle tugging at the scalp, the rhythmic sound of bristles through hair, the focused attention of the person doing the brushing, the intimate nature of the grooming, all combine to create conditions that reliably trigger tingles for many people. Mothers have been soothing children through hair brushing for countless generations, unknowingly utilizing ASMR's calming properties. The fascinating truth is that ASMR has always been part of human experience. Our ancestors experienced the tingles during grooming rituals, spiritual practices, and moments of gentle care. They created cultural practices that reliably triggered these responses, even without understanding the neuroscience behind them. The internet didn't create ASMR. It simply gave people a way to recognize, name, and deliberately cultivate an experience that humans have been enjoying throughout our entire history. When neuroscientists first began studying ASMR, they faced an unusual challenge. How do you scientifically investigate a subjective sensation that not everyone experiences, that can't be reliably triggered on command, and that had only recently been named? Yet researchers were intrigued precisely because ASMR seemed to offer a window into fundamental questions about sensory processing, pleasure, and the brain's response to social stimuli. The first peer-reviewed research paper on ASMR was published in 2015, marking a turning point in how the phenomenon was perceived. Researchers at Swansea University surveyed thousands of ASMR experiencers to understand the demographics, triggers, and effects of the sensation. What they found was illuminating. ASMR wasn't random or imaginary, but followed consistent patterns across populations. People described remarkably similar experiences: tingling sensations beginning at the scalp and traveling down the spine, profound relaxation, improved mood, and temporary relief from symptoms of stress, anxiety, and insomnia. Brain imaging studies began to reveal what happens neurologically during ASMR experiences. Using functional MRI technology, researchers discovered that ASMR activates multiple brain regions simultaneously. The medial prefrontal cortex, associated with self-awareness and social cognition, lights up during ASMR. So does the nucleus accumbens, a region central to the brain's reward system. The sensory cortex shows increased activity, as does the insula, which processes emotional experiences and bodily sensations. What's particularly fascinating is the pattern of activation. ASMR appears to create a unique neurological state that combines elements of relaxation, reward, and social connection. It's not quite like meditation, though there are similarities. It's not identical to the response triggered by music, though there's overlap. ASMR seems to occupy its own neurological niche, a state that researchers are still working to fully characterize. One of the most intriguing findings involves oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. Research suggests that ASMR may trigger oxytocin release, which would help explain why personal attention scenarios are such powerful triggers. Oxytocin is released during positive social interactions, particularly those involving trust and care. Precisely the kinds of scenarios that many ASMR role plays simulate. This connection suggests that ASMR might tap into deeply rooted neural pathways related to social bonding and caregiving. The question of why not everyone experiences ASMR has led researchers to investigate individual differences in sensory processing. Studies suggest that people who experience ASMR may have differences in brain connectivity, particularly in regions associated with processing sensory information and emotional responses. Some researchers hypothesize that ASMR experiencers may have increased connectivity between sensory and emotional brain regions, allowing certain stimuli to trigger both sensory sensations and emotional responses simultaneously. Personality research has revealed interesting patterns. People who experience ASMR tend to score higher on measures of openness to experience and neuroticism, while scoring lower on conscientiousness and extroversion. They also tend to be more empathetic and emotionally sensitive. These findings suggest that ASMR sensitivity might be related to broader patterns of sensory and emotional processing, rather than being an isolated phenomenon. The genetics of ASMR remain largely unexplored, but preliminary evidence suggests there may be a hereditary component. Many people report that family members also experience ASMR, and identical twin studies could provide valuable insights into the genetic versus environmental factors that contribute to ASMR sensitivity. However, this research is still in its earliest stages. One of the most compelling aspects of ASMR research involves its therapeutic potential. Studies have documented significant reductions in heart rate during ASMR experiences, suggesting real physiological relaxation rather than just subjective feelings of calm. Research has also shown improvements in mood that can last for hours after an ASMR session. For people struggling with anxiety, insomnia, or chronic pain, ASMR offers a non-pharmaceutical intervention with no known side effects. The neuroscience of specific ASMR triggers has revealed surprising complexity. Whispering, for instance, activates not just auditory processing regions, but also areas associated with understanding speech and inferring social intent. Tapping sounds engage the brain's rhythm processing systems. Personal attention scenarios activate regions involved in theory of mind, our ability to understand others' mental states. Each trigger type creates its own unique neural signature, while contributing to the overall ASMR experience. Researchers have also investigated why ASMR videos lose their effectiveness with repeated viewing, a phenomenon the community calls ASMR immunity. Studies suggest this might involve neural habituation, where the brain becomes less responsive to familiar stimuli. However, the exact mechanisms remain unclear, and not everyone experiences this immunity. Some people can watch the same ASMR video hundreds of times and still experience tingles, while others need constant novelty. The relationship between ASMR and synesthesia has attracted research attention. Synesthesia involves the crossing of sensory experiences, seeing colors when hearing music, for instance. ASMR might represent a form of sensory crossing where auditory or visual stimuli trigger tactile sensations. However, ASMR differs from classical synesthesia in important ways, suggesting it may be a related but distinct phenomenon. Current research is exploring ASMR's potential applications in clinical settings. Could ASMR be used to reduce pre-surgical anxiety? Might it help patients with chronic pain manage their symptoms? Could it serve as a tool for treating insomnia or PTSD? Early results are promising, though larger controlled studies are needed to establish clinical efficacy. What's clear is that ASMR represents a legitimate physiological response with measurable effects on the brain and body. A gentle phenomenon that science is only beginning to understand. At the heart of ASMR's effectiveness lies something profoundly human: our need for gentle, focused attention. Understanding why simulated care can produce real relaxation requires exploring some of psychology's most fundamental insights about human attachment, social connection, and emotional regulation. Attachment theory, developed by psychologist John Bowlby, suggests that humans are born with an innate need for connection with caregivers. Infants who receive responsive, attuned care develop secure attachment, while those who don't may struggle with relationships throughout life. The experience of being attended to, having someone focus on our needs with care and gentleness, becomes associated with safety, comfort, and emotional regulation from our earliest moments. ASMR role plays often recreate precisely these attachment-related scenarios. The doctor carefully examining you, the friend attentively styling your hair, the caring professional giving you undivided attention. These scenarios tap into deeply embedded neural pathways associated with being cared for. Even though the care is simulated and the ASM artist doesn't actually know you, your brain responds to the sensory cues and social signals as if the attention were real. This isn't about being fooled or deceived. Rather, it reflects how our brains process social information through multiple channels simultaneously. When someone makes eye contact with you through a camera, speaks softly and directly to you, and performs actions that signal care and attention, your nervous system responds to those cues even while your conscious mind knows it's mediated through video. The tingles and relaxation are real because the sensory input triggers genuine neurological responses, regardless of whether the social interaction is face-to-face or digital. The concept of social surrogacy helps explain this phenomenon. Research shows that people can partially fulfill social needs through parasocial relationships. One-sided connections with media figures like television characters, or in this case, ASM artists. While these relationships can't completely replace real interpersonal connections, they do provide genuine psychological benefits. For people experiencing loneliness, social anxiety, or isolation, ASMR videos offer a form of social connection that feels safe and manageable. There's something particularly powerful about the non-demanding nature of ASMR relationships. The ASM artist provides care and attention without requiring anything in return. You don't need to make conversation, reciprocate emotional support, or navigate social complexities. This one-sided nature, which might seem problematic in traditional relationships, becomes therapeutic in the ASMR context. It's care without the social labor that relationships typically require. The psychology of touch also plays a role in ASMR's effectiveness, even when no actual touching occurs. Research on phantom touch or mirror touch synesthesia reveals that some people experience tactile sensations when watching others being touched. In ASMR, visual triggers like scalp massage or face touching can create actual tingling sensations on the viewer's own scalp or face. This isn't imagination. Brain imaging shows activation in tactile processing regions when people experience these phantom touch sensations. ASMR also engages what psychologists call the rest and digest nervous system, the parasympathetic response that counteracts stress and promotes recovery. The gentle, predictable nature of ASMR triggers signals to the nervous system that there's no threat, allowing the body to shift out of vigilant, stressed states into relaxation mode. Heart rate slows, breathing deepens, muscle tension releases. All measurable physiological changes that contribute to the subjective experience of profound calm. The role of predictability in ASMR's effectiveness is fascinating. Many ASMR videos follow familiar formats and use consistent trigger patterns. This predictability is actually part of what makes them relaxing. When we know what's coming, that the tapping will continue at a steady rhythm, that the whispers will remain soft and gentle, our brains can settle into the experience without needing to remain vigilant for changes or threats. It's the opposite of suspense, creating a sense of safety through consistency. Yet ASMR must balance predictability with novelty. If content becomes too predictable, habituation occurs and tingles diminish. The most effective ASMR maintains familiarity while introducing enough variation to keep the brain gently engaged. This balance mirrors broader principles of optimal stimulation. We're most relaxed when we're neither bored nor overstimulated, but rather held in a gentle state of interest and calm. The temporal aspect of ASMR, the fact that these are extended experiences rather than brief moments, contributes to their effectiveness. Unlike a short video or image that provides momentary pleasure, ASMR sessions often last 30 minutes to several hours. This duration allows for deep relaxation that builds gradually, letting the nervous system fully transition into restful states. The commitment to spending time being cared for even virtually itself signals to the brain that it's safe to relax. ASMR's effectiveness for managing anxiety specifically relates to how it occupies attention. Anxiety often involves racing thoughts and difficulty disengaging from worry cycles. ASMR provides gentle, external focus that occupies just enough attention to interrupt rumination, without requiring the concentrated effort that might itself be anxiety-producing. It's a form of distraction that doesn't feel like distraction, because it's genuinely pleasant and relaxing rather than merely diverting. For people with trauma histories, ASMR can be both helpful and complicated. The gentle attention and care simulated in ASMR may be especially meaningful for those who lacked such experiences in childhood or who have experienced betrayals of care. However, scenarios involving close proximity or physical examination might trigger trauma responses in some viewers. The ASMR community has become increasingly aware of these dynamics, with many creators providing content warnings and creating specifically gentle, non-triggering content. The communal aspect of ASMR also deserves psychological consideration. Knowing that millions of others are seeking the same gentle experiences, that you're part of a global community of people valuing relaxation and care, provides its own form of connection. The comment sections of ASMR videos often read like support groups, with viewers sharing struggles with anxiety, insomnia, or stress, and offering mutual encouragement. This community dimension adds social support to the individual sensory experience. What ASMR ultimately reveals is that humans need gentleness, both to receive it and to create it. In a world that often feels harsh, rushed, and demanding, ASMR represents a collective commitment to slowing down, being gentle with ourselves and others, and recognizing that care and attention are not luxuries but fundamental human needs. The tingles are real, but perhaps more importantly, so is the care that creates them. The transition of ASMR from internet curiosity to potential therapeutic tool represents one of the most intriguing developments in complementary medicine. While ASMR will never replace evidence-based treatments for serious conditions, growing research and countless personal testimonials suggest that these gentle sensory experiences offer genuine health benefits that deserve serious attention from medical and psychological professionals. The most well-documented therapeutic application of ASMR involves sleep disorders. Insomnia affects hundreds of millions of people worldwide, and pharmaceutical sleep aids come with significant side effects and dependency risks. ASMR offers a non-pharmaceutical alternative that many insomniacs report as remarkably effective. The mechanism seems straightforward. ASMR reduces physiological arousal, quiets racing thoughts, and creates conditions conducive to sleep onset. The extended duration of many ASMR videos means they can accompany listeners through the entire process of falling asleep. Research specifically examining ASMR for sleep has shown promising results. Studies measuring sleep latency, the time it takes to fall asleep, have found significant reductions when participants use ASMR compared to silence or white noise. Sleep quality metrics also improve, with people reporting fewer nighttime awakenings and feeling more rested upon waking. The mechanism appears to involve both the direct relaxation effects of ASMR and the displacement of anxious thoughts that often interfere with sleep. The application of ASMR for anxiety management has garnered significant interest from mental health professionals. Anxiety disorders represent the most common mental health conditions globally, and many people either can't access treatment or find that standard approaches don't fully address their symptoms. ASMR provides an immediately available, free, self-administered intervention that many anxiety sufferers report as helpful for managing both chronic anxiety and acute episodes. The physiological markers support these subjective reports. Heart rate variability, a measure of nervous system flexibility and resilience, improves during ASMR experiences. Cortisol levels, the body's primary stress hormone, decrease following ASMR sessions. These measurable changes confirm that ASMR produces genuine physiological relaxation rather than just subjective feelings of calm. For people with generalized anxiety disorder, regular ASMR use might help maintain baseline calmness that makes anxiety more manageable overall. Chronic pain management represents another area where ASMR shows therapeutic promise. Pain and stress are intimately connected. Stress amplifies pain perception, while pain creates stress, forming a vicious cycle. ASMR interrupts this cycle by reducing stress and providing gentle distraction from pain signals. While ASMR doesn't eliminate pain, many people with chronic conditions report that it makes pain more bearable and reduces the emotional distress associated with persistent discomfort. The mechanism here likely involves multiple pathways. The relaxation response reduces muscle tension that can amplify pain. The gentle distraction shifts attention away from pain sensations without requiring the cognitive effort that can itself be exhausting. The endorphin release associated with pleasurable experiences may contribute to pain modulation. Additionally, the improved sleep quality that ASMR supports indirectly helps pain management, as sleep deprivation significantly worsens pain perception. Depression treatment increasingly recognizes the importance of behavioral activation. Engaging in pleasant activities that interrupt negative thought patterns and create positive experiences. ASMR can serve this function by providing accessible, pleasant experiences that require minimal energy or motivation. For people whose depression makes it difficult to engage with activities that used to bring pleasure, ASMR offers low barrier to entry positive experiences that can help maintain some connection to pleasure and relaxation. The use of ASMR in medical settings is beginning to be explored. Some hospitals have started offering ASMR videos to patients awaiting procedures during chemotherapy or recovering from surgery. The goals are multiple: reducing pre-procedure anxiety, making extended medical procedures more bearable, and creating a more healing environment overall. Preliminary results suggest that patients who use ASMR report lower anxiety levels and sometimes require less pain medication. Dentistry represents a particularly promising application area. Dental anxiety affects a significant portion of the population, sometimes severely enough that people avoid necessary dental care. The sensory characteristics of dental procedures, the sounds of tools, the close proximity of the dentist, the vulnerability of having someone work in your mouth, create conditions that could either trigger anxiety or, reframed through ASMR perspective, potentially create relaxation. Some progressive dental practices now offer ASMR-style experiences, with dentists trained in gentle communication and offices designed for sensory comfort. ASMR's potential for managing PTSD symptoms is being cautiously explored. The gentle, predictable nature of ASMR creates safe sensory environments that might help trauma survivors practice tolerating intimacy and attention. However, this application requires careful consideration, as certain triggers or scenarios might be activating rather than relaxing for trauma survivors. Some therapists incorporate ASMR into treatment plans as a between-session resource for managing symptoms, always tailored to individual triggers and responses. Autism spectrum individuals have reported finding ASMR particularly helpful for sensory regulation. Many autistic people experience sensory processing differences that make certain sounds or touches overwhelming, while finding others deeply satisfying. ASMR provides controlled, predictable sensory input that can be calming for people who struggle with sensory overstimulation in daily life. However, responses are highly individual. The same ASMR content that soothes one autistic person might be extremely unpleasant for another. The use of ASMR for focus and concentration might seem counterintuitive given its association with relaxation. But many people report that certain types of ASMR help them maintain attention on tasks. Gentle background ASMR can create an acoustic environment that masks distracting sounds, while providing just enough stimulation to prevent the wandering attention that silence sometimes creates. Students report using ASMR while studying, and some workers play ASMR during focused work periods. Addiction recovery is another area where ASMR might offer support. The restlessness, anxiety, and sleep disturbances that often accompany recovery can be partially addressed through ASMR. Moreover, ASMR provides an alternative source of pleasure and comfort that doesn't involve substances. Learning to derive comfort from gentle sensory experiences rather than chemical intervention represents an important skill in recovery. Some treatment programs have begun incorporating ASMR as a complementary tool. The limitations and cautions deserve mention. ASMR should not replace professional mental health or medical treatment for serious conditions. It's a complementary tool, not a cure. Individual responses vary dramatically. What helps one person might do nothing, or even cause discomfort for another. The parasocial nature of ASMR relationships could potentially become problematic if people substitute digital interaction for necessary real-world connections. Despite these caveats, the therapeutic potential of ASMR is becoming increasingly difficult to dismiss. The combination of measurable physiological effects, consistent subjective reports of benefit, zero financial cost, no side effects for most users, and immediate accessibility makes ASMR a valuable tool in the broader landscape of self-care and complementary wellness practices. As research continues and medical understanding deepens, ASMR may increasingly be recognized as legitimate medicine. Gentle, accessible healing that's been hiding in plain sight, waiting for science to catch up with what millions of people already knew from experience. The world of ASMR triggers is remarkably diverse, a vast sensory landscape where everyone's experience is unique, yet patterns emerge that reveal something profound about human perception and pleasure. Understanding this taxonomy, this careful classification of what makes people tingle, is like learning a new language, one spoken not in words, but in whispers, taps, and gentle movements that resonate directly with the nervous system. Whispering stands as perhaps the most iconic ASMR trigger, the sound most commonly associated with the phenomenon. But not all whispers are created equal. There's the breathy whisper that emphasizes air flow, creating a soft, rushing sound that feels like wind through leaves. There's the crisp whisper where consonants are precisely articulated, creating clear, distinct sounds that dance around the listener's ears. Some people prefer unintelligible whispering, just the sound of the voice without the distraction of meaning, while others need to understand the words to experience tingles. The proximity of the whisper matters too. Close whispers feel intimate and personal, while distant whispers create a sense of overhearing something private and special. Tapping has evolved into an art form within the ASMR community. Different materials produce distinctly different sounds that trigger responses in different people. Glass provides a clear, bell-like tone when tapped with fingernails. Wood offers a warmer, more organic sound. Plastic creates sharper, crisper impacts. Metal produces resonant, almost musical notes. ASMR artists develop extensive collections of objects specifically chosen for their acoustic properties. Perfume bottles, makeup compacts, wooden boxes, ceramic containers, each offering its own unique sonic signature. The technique of tapping matters as much as the object being tapped. Gentle, rhythmic tapping creates a meditative pattern that many find hypnotic. Rapid tapping, like rain on a window, produces a different kind of relaxation. Some creators vary the rhythm, creating almost musical compositions from the sounds of their fingers against objects. The best tappers understand that they're not just making noise. They're creating acoustic experiences that guide listeners into deeper states of relaxation. Crinkling and scratching sounds trigger powerful responses in many people. The specific sound of paper being crumpled, plastic packaging being manipulated, or fingernails scratching across textured surfaces creates a kind of sonic texture that some brains find irresistible. These sounds often work because they're both consistent and variable. There's an underlying rhythm and quality, but enough variation to keep the brain gently engaged without demanding focused attention. Personal attention scenarios represent a category of triggers that go beyond simple sounds. These role-play videos simulate situations where the viewer receives individual, focused care. Haircut simulations, spa treatments, medical examinations, makeup application, or friendly consultations. The power of these triggers lies not just in the sounds they produce, but in the psychology they engage. They tap into deep human needs for care, attention, and gentle interaction. The best personal attention role plays create a sense of being cared for that goes beyond the auditory experience to something almost emotional. The cranial nerve examination has become an iconic personal attention scenario within ASMR. These videos simulate the neurological test where doctors check each of the 12 cranial nerves through various visual, auditory, and tactile tests. The close proximity of the examination, the focused attention, the soft-spoken instructions, and the gentle touching around the face all combine to create incredibly powerful ASMR triggers. It's telling that a medical procedure designed to assess neurological function has become one of the most beloved relaxation experiences for millions of people. Page turning and paper sounds occupy their own special niche in the trigger taxonomy. The soft rustling of pages, the gentle crackle of book spines, the sound of a pen on paper. These auditory experiences connect to something deeply nostalgic for many people. They evoke quiet libraries, late-night studying, or childhood bedtime stories. Magazine flipping videos, where creators slowly turn glossy pages while softly commenting on the contents, combine visual and auditory triggers in ways that many find powerfully relaxing. Mouth sounds represent one of the most divisive categories of ASMR triggers. Some people experience intense tingles from sounds like gentle lip smacking, tongue clicking, or soft eating sounds. Others find these same sounds unbearable. This polarization likely relates to individual differences in auditory processing and personal associations with eating sounds. What's misophonia-inducing for one person might be profoundly relaxing for another. Brushing sounds, whether hairbrushes, makeup brushes, or cleaning brushes moving across surfaces, create a distinctive swishing quality that many find soothing. The repetitive nature of brushing, combined with the soft scratching or whisking sounds it produces, creates a kind of white noise with texture. Videos featuring brush sounds often incorporate visual triggers too, as viewers watch bristles moving across surfaces in rhythmic, mesmerizing patterns. Water sounds constitute their own rich category. Gentle rain sounds, stream trickling, soft ocean waves, water being poured into glasses. Each produces distinct acoustic qualities that different people respond to. These sounds often work by creating acoustic environments that mask other noises while providing gentle, consistent stimulation. The best water sound ASMR goes beyond simple nature recordings to incorporate intentional variations and attention to audio quality that enhances the tingling response. Unboxing and show-and-tell videos trigger ASMR through combination of sound, movement, and presentation. The crinkling of packaging materials, the soft commentary as items are revealed, the gentle handling of new objects, the visual satisfaction of organized unwrapping, all contribute to what can be a surprisingly powerful ASMR experience. These videos tap into something primal about discovery and acquisition, while maintaining the gentle, attentive quality that characterizes good ASMR. Typing and keyboard sounds have developed a devoted following. Mechanical keyboard enthusiasts have long appreciated the distinct sounds different switches produce, and ASMR has given new context to this appreciation. The rhythmic clicking and clacking of keys, especially when accompanied by soft-spoken narration about the keyboard itself, creates a modern form of white noise that many find both focusing and relaxing. Layered sounds represent an advanced form of ASMR where multiple triggers are carefully combined. Perhaps whispering overlaid with tapping or gentle music beneath the sound of rain and soft speaking. The complexity of layered soundscapes creates rich acoustic environments where different listeners can focus on different elements, finding their own path to tingles within the composition. What makes this taxonomy so fascinating is how personal it is. One person's perfect trigger is another's complete non-starter. The ASMR community has embraced this diversity, creating content for every preference and helping people discover their specific trigger profile. It's a reminder that relaxation and pleasure are deeply individual experiences, and that there's no single right way to achieve the tingling sensation that makes ASMR so special. Behind every successful ASMR video is an artist, though many would modestly resist that title, who has learned to translate the science of tingles into carefully crafted experiences. These creators, known affectionately as ASM artists, have built one of the internet's most unusual and intimate creative communities, turning whispers and taps into careers, while helping millions find peace in an increasingly anxious world. The journey to becoming an ASM artist often starts personally. Many creators discovered ASMR as viewers, experiencing the tingles themselves and gradually developing the thought, "I could do this. I could help people feel this way." They start with simple equipment, a smartphone, perhaps a basic microphone, and film their first tentative videos. These early attempts are often technically rough, but they carry a sincerity that resonates with audiences hungry for authentic ASMR experiences. The technical learning curve for ASMR is steeper than it might appear. Audio quality matters immensely in a medium where subtle sounds carry the entire experience. ASM artists must learn about microphone types, audio interfaces, and recording techniques that most podcasters and musicians would find familiar. The rise of binaural microphones, specialized equipment that records in 3D audio, revolutionized ASMR by creating soundscapes where whispers seem to travel from one ear to the other, and tapping sounds appear to move through physical space. These binaural setups often involve microphones shaped like human ears, sometimes mounted on mannequin heads with built-in microphones. The result is audio that mimics how humans actually perceive sound in real life, complete with the subtle differences in timing and tone that allow us to locate sounds in space. When a creator whispers near a binaural microphone, viewers wearing headphones experience the whisper as if someone is genuinely leaning close to their ear. It's this immersive quality that makes ASMR so uniquely effective as a relaxation tool. The creative process of making ASMR involves careful planning and improvisation in equal measure. Some ASM artists script their videos precisely, knowing exactly what they'll say and do. Others prefer to improvise, letting the creative flow guide them through tapping sequences or role-play scenarios. Many find that their best work happens in a kind of meditative state, where they're relaxed enough to trigger ASMR in themselves while creating content. There's a peculiar kind of magic in watching an ASM artist find their flow, their movements becoming almost hypnotic as they tap, whisper, and create tingling experiences. The relationship between ASM artists and their audiences is unlike almost any other creator-viewer dynamic on the internet. It's deeply intimate yet bounded by the screen, personal yet performed, therapeutic yet entertaining. Viewers often describe feeling like they know their favorite ASM artists personally, even though the relationship is entirely one-sided. This parasocial intimacy isn't problematic in itself. It's actually part of what makes ASMR effective. The sense of personal attention and care, even when simulated, triggers real neurological and emotional responses. Many successful ASM artists develop distinct personas or specialties. Some become known for specific role plays: the gentle doctor, the attentive friend, the soft-spoken librarian. Others become technical specialists, known for their exceptional audio quality or creative trigger combinations. Some emphasize visual triggers, creating videos full of gentle hand movements and pleasing aesthetics. Others focus purely on audio, sometimes not even appearing on camera themselves. The business of ASMR has evolved alongside the medium. What began as a hobby for most creators has become a viable career for many. Successful ASM artists earn income through YouTube ad revenue, Patreon subscriptions, sponsored content, and increasingly through mainstream media opportunities. Some have launched product lines, everything from ASMR-focused skincare to specially designed microphones. A few have published books, given TED Talks, or consulted for major brands creating ASMR marketing campaigns. But monetization brings challenges unique to ASMR. YouTube's algorithm doesn't always favor ASMR content, sometimes flagging whispered speech or intimate scenarios as inappropriate even when they're entirely innocent. Demonetization affects many ASM artists despite their content being therapeutic rather than sexual. The community has had to navigate misconceptions and stigma while building sustainable careers around content that mainstream platforms don't always understand or adequately support. The creative innovation within ASMR is remarkable. Artists continuously experiment with new trigger combinations, unexpected objects, novel role-play scenarios, and technical approaches. Some create elaborate fantasy scenarios, everything from wizards' apothecaries to alien examinations, while others find beauty in the mundane, making videos about doing laundry or organizing drawers. There's a whole subgenre of ASM artists who create content in foreign languages, where viewers don't understand the words, but find the sounds of unfamiliar languages particularly triggering. Collaboration within the ASMR community is common and supportive in ways that stand out from other YouTube niches. ASM artists regularly recommend each other's channels, collaborate on videos, and share technical knowledge. There's a sense that everyone succeeds when ASMR as a whole becomes more accepted and understood. This collaborative spirit creates a creative ecosystem where innovations spread quickly and the overall quality of content continually improves. The emotional labor of being an ASM artist deserves recognition. These creators spend hours whispering to cameras, performing care work that's real even if the scenarios are simulated. They read comments from viewers describing how ASMR videos help them through anxiety attacks, insomnia, grief, or chronic pain. They carry the weight of knowing that their content serves therapeutic functions for many viewers, even as they maintain boundaries and remind audiences that they're entertainers, not mental health professionals. Behind the scenes, creating ASMR is often unglamorous work. Recording sessions require complete quiet, meaning ASM artists often work late at night when traffic and neighbors are silent. A single video might require dozens of takes to achieve perfect audio quality. Equipment must be constantly maintained, trigger objects continuously sourced, and creative inspiration sustained through the inevitable periods when nothing seems to produce tingles anymore. Yet despite these challenges, ASM artists consistently describe their work as meaningful and rewarding. They receive messages daily from people whose lives have been touched by their content. The insomniac who finally slept through the night, the anxiety sufferer who found calm during a panic attack, the chronic pain patient who discovered moments of relief. These connections, even mediated through screens and algorithms, represent something genuinely valuable. One person helping others find peace through the careful creation of gentle sensory experiences. ASMR might have been named and popularized through English-language online communities, but the Tingles know no cultural boundaries. Travel around the world, and you'll discover that people everywhere experience ASMR, though the triggers, contexts, and cultural meanings can vary significantly. This global landscape of gentle stimulation reveals as much about cultural differences as it does about universal human neurology. In South Korea, ASMR has exploded into mainstream consciousness in ways that haven't yet happened in many Western countries. Korean ASMR content is extraordinarily popular, with creators producing everything from traditional whisper videos to elaborate eating broadcasts known as mukbang. These eating shows, where creators consume large quantities of food while speaking to the camera, frequently incorporate ASMR elements. The sounds of chewing, slurping, and food preparation become the primary content alongside the visual spectacle. The popularity of mukbang-style ASMR in Korea connects to broader cultural contexts around food, social eating, and the increasing atomization of urban life. For people eating alone, a common experience in Seoul's fast-paced society, mukbang videos provide a sense of shared meals and social connection. The ASMR elements transform what could be simple food content into something more intimate and relaxing, turning solitary dinners into almost communal experiences. Korean ASMR creators have also developed distinctive aesthetic approaches. Production values tend to be exceptionally high, with careful attention to lighting, framing, and overall visual presentation. The emphasis on cuteness, or aegyo, that permeates Korean popular culture finds expression in ASMR through adorable props, pastel color schemes, and performative charm. This cultural specificity doesn't diminish effectiveness. Korean ASMR content has gained massive international followings precisely because it offers something aesthetically distinct. Japanese ASMR culture draws heavily from the country's existing relationship with careful sensory attention. The traditional tea ceremony, with its precise movements and focused attention to sound and texture, represents a non-digital form of ASMR-like experience that's been practiced for centuries. Modern Japanese ASM artists often incorporate these aesthetic principles: minimalism, natural materials, carefully considered movements, into their content. The concept of a yashike, meaning healing type, exists in Japanese media as a category for content designed to soothe and comfort. ASMR fits naturally into this tradition, which includes everything from aquarium videos to slow-paced video games. Japanese creators often emphasize natural sounds: rain on leaves, water flowing, wind chimes, reflecting cultural appreciation for nature's subtle music. The Japanese language itself, with its soft consonants and gentle phonetic qualities, lends itself naturally to ASMR applications. In Russia and Eastern Europe, ASMR has developed its own flavor, often incorporating elements of traditional folk culture. Russian ASM artists create content around traditional crafts, embroidery, wood carving, traditional cooking, that preserves cultural heritage while providing ASMR triggers. The Russian language's distinctive sounds, particularly its soft palatalized consonants, create unique acoustic qualities that many find particularly effective for triggering tingles. Latin American ASMR often emphasizes warmth and personal connection in ways that reflect broader cultural values around family and friendship. Spanish-language ASMR creators frequently frame their content around scenarios of care and attention. Grandmother figures sharing wisdom, friends doing each other's hair, comforting conversations over coffee. The emotional warmth and linguistic musicality of Spanish and Portuguese create ASMR experiences that feel distinctly different from English language content. Nordic countries have embraced ASMR with characteristic design sensibility. Scandinavian ASM artists often incorporate minimalist aesthetics and hygge-inspired coziness into their videos. The concept of lagom, Swedish for just the right amount, finds expression in carefully balanced soundscapes that avoid excess while creating perfect atmospheric conditions for relaxation. In India, ASMR intersects with traditional practices like head massage and Ayurvedic treatments that have always incorporated tingles-inducing elements. Indian ASM artists create content around these traditional wellness practices, filming barber shops, street food preparation, and craft traditions with attention to the sounds and movements that trigger ASMR. The rich diversity of Indian languages provides countless phonetic variations that different communities find soothing, while traditional music and instruments offer unique acoustic possibilities for ASMR content. The Middle East has its own ASMR traditions, often centered around calligraphy, tea preparation, and the recitation of poetry and religious texts. Arabic language ASMR leverages the language's flowing, musical qualities, while Turkish ASM artists create content around traditional crafts like carpet weaving and copper working. These videos preserve cultural heritage while making it accessible to global audiences who may not understand the languages, but appreciate the sounds and visuals. African ASMR content, while less prevalent on major platforms due to internet access disparities, often incorporates traditional storytelling, craft making, and natural environments. The diversity of African languages and cultural practices offers tremendous potential for ASMR content that's only beginning to be explored. Creators who do produce content often emphasize communal aspects of African culture, creating ASMR experiences that feel less isolated and more connected to larger social contexts. What's remarkable about global ASMR culture is how it reveals both universality and specificity. The tingles themselves seem to be a universal human experience. People in every culture report similar physical sensations, yet the triggers, contexts, and meanings vary significantly. A whispered conversation might be deeply relaxing in one culture, but feel uncomfortable in another, where such intimacy would be inappropriate between strangers. Food sounds that trigger pleasant ASMR for some listeners activate misophonia responses in others, based on cultural norms around eating etiquette. The globalization of ASMR has created fascinating cross-cultural exchanges. Western viewers discover Korean skincare routines through ASMR, while Asian audiences explore Western spa treatments. Traditional practices from one culture become ASMR content consumed worldwide, spreading appreciation for diverse cultural approaches to care, craft, and attention. This exchange happens through the universal language of gentle stimulation, transcending linguistic barriers while still carrying cultural specificity. Language itself becomes a fascinating variable in global ASMR. Many viewers specifically seek out ASMR in languages they don't understand, finding that incomprehension actually enhances the experience by removing semantic distraction. The sounds of unfamiliar languages become pure acoustic phenomena, appreciated for their phonetic qualities rather than their meanings. This has created demand for ASMR content in languages ranging from Portuguese to Vietnamese, Finnish to Arabic, each offering distinct sonic textures. The internet's role in globalizing ASMR cannot be overstated. A teenager in Seoul can watch an ASM artist in Stockholm, while someone in Sao Paulo discovers content from Tokyo. This interconnection creates a global community bound by shared experiences of tingles, even as cultural differences shape how those experiences are created and contextualized. The comment sections of popular ASMR videos read like United Nations assemblies, with viewers from dozens of countries sharing their appreciation in multiple languages. Commercial ASMR has gone global too, with international brands creating localized ASMR content. A skincare company might produce different ASMR advertisements for Korean, American, and European markets, each tailored to local aesthetic preferences and cultural norms around personal care. This suggests that ASMR has achieved sufficient mainstream recognition globally to be leveraged for marketing purposes across diverse cultural contexts. The future of global ASMR likely involves increasing cultural exchange and innovation as creators from different backgrounds inspire and influence each other. We're already seeing fusion content that blends aesthetic and trigger approaches from multiple cultures, creating new forms of ASMR that wouldn't exist without global connectivity. This cross-pollination enriches the entire ASMR ecosystem, ensuring constant novelty and growth in an art form that's still remarkably young. The technical sophistication of ASMR has evolved dramatically since those early videos recorded on webcam microphones in quiet bedrooms. Today's ASMR represents a genuine art form where creators combine acoustic engineering, performance, and psychological understanding to craft experiences that are as technically impressive as they are therapeutically effective. Understanding this evolution reveals how a grassroots internet phenomenon has matured into something approaching professional audio production. Binaural recording technology stands at the heart of modern ASMR's effectiveness. Unlike traditional stereo recording that uses two microphones positioned apart, binaural recording mimics human hearing by placing microphones where our ears would be, often using mannequin heads or ear-shaped microphones. The result is 3D audio that recreates spatial positioning. Sounds appear to move around the listener, creating the illusion of physical presence that's essential for immersive ASMR. The development of specialized ASMR microphones has become its own industry niche. Beyond standard binaural setups, manufacturers now produce microphones specifically designed for ASMR applications. These include ultrasensitive condenser microphones that capture the subtlest sounds, ear-shaped microphones with built-in amplification, and even microphones with artificial ears that incorporate the acoustic properties of human ear anatomy. Prices range from affordable consumer models to professional equipment costing thousands of dollars. The acoustic environment itself has become a crucial consideration. Professional ASMR artists invest in soundproofing, acoustic treatment, and noise isolation to create recording spaces where every whisper and tap can be captured without interference from traffic, neighbors, or household appliances. Some build dedicated studio spaces with specialized insulation, while others record during the quietest hours of night. The pursuit of perfect silence has become its own creative challenge, a monk-like dedication to eliminating unwanted sound. Post-production techniques in ASMR have grown increasingly sophisticated. While the goal remains natural, unprocessed sound, subtle editing enhances the final product. Noise reduction removes electronic hiss without destroying the delicate high frequencies essential for tingles. Equalization adjusts frequency balance to emphasize the ranges most effective for triggering ASMR. Compression evens out volume variations, ensuring whispers remain audible without sudden loud moments that would break the spell. Layered soundscapes represent advanced ASMR composition, where multiple audio elements combine into rich acoustic environments. A creator might layer gentle rain sounds beneath whispered narration, add distant thunder for atmosphere, include subtle binaural movement sounds, and incorporate soft music at the edge of perception. Creating effective layers requires understanding how different frequencies interact, ensuring no element overwhelms others while maintaining clarity and separation that allows listeners to focus on different aspects. The development of ASMR-specific audio techniques has contributed to broader audio engineering knowledge. Techniques refined for ASMR capturing delicate sounds, creating immersive spatial audio, maintaining pristine signal chains. Have applications in other fields from virtual reality to sound healing to nature recording. ASMR creators have become inadvertent pioneers in acoustic arts, solving technical challenges that benefit anyone working with subtle, intimate audio. Visual ASMR has evolved its own aesthetic language. Lighting became crucial: soft, warm, flattering light that creates gentle shadows and comfortable viewing. Camera angles position viewers in the intimate personal space where ASMR works best. Visual triggers like hand movements require careful choreography and camera framing to maximize their effect. Color palettes tend toward calming pastels or warm neutrals. The overall visual aesthetic supports, rather than competes with audio triggers. The integration of ASMR into virtual reality represents the cutting edge of technical development. VR ASMR creates fully immersive environments where users can look around virtual spaces while experiencing spatial audio that responds to head movement. Imagine a virtual spa where you can turn your head to watch the ASM artist move around you, with sounds arriving from their actual position in the virtual space. Early VR ASMR experiments suggest profound potential for creating even more effective tingling experiences. Innovation in trigger creation continues pushing ASMR into new territory. Creators experiment with unusual objects: magnets clicking together, kinetic sand being manipulated, water beads being compressed, searching for novel sounds that might trigger tingles in new ways. Some explore scientific instruments, using stethoscopes or tuning forks to create sounds that are simultaneously medical and meditative. Others incorporate technology, creating ASMR from keyboard typing, computer fans, or the sounds of old technology like typewriters and rotary phones. The rise of AI and synthetic audio presents both opportunities and challenges for ASMR. AI voice synthesis could theoretically create customized whispered content tailored to individual preferences. However, the ASMR community has largely resisted AI-generated content, recognizing that authenticity and human presence are essential to the experience. The slight imperfections in human performance, the natural variations in whisper volume, the authentic spontaneity of improvised content, contribute to ASMR's effectiveness in ways that perfectly synthesized content might not replicate. Collaborative ASMR has produced some of the community's most creative content. Multiple ASM artists appearing together create opportunities for conversation and interaction that solo creators can't achieve. Coordinated binaural movements, with sounds moving between multiple positions around the listener, create complex spatial experiences. These collaborations require technical coordination and careful planning to ensure audio from multiple sources integrates seamlessly. The archiving and preservation of ASMR represents an emerging concern. As the art form matures, questions arise about preserving early works and documenting ASMR's evolution. Some creators have deleted years of content, and platform changes have made older videos inaccessible. Scholars and enthusiasts are beginning to think about how to preserve ASMR's history, maintaining not just the videos themselves, but the cultural context, community discussions, and creative evolution they represent. The technical sophistication of ASMR hasn't diluted its essential intimacy. If anything, better technology enhances the core experience. More immersive audio creates stronger presence. Better visual quality allows for more engaging personal attention scenarios. Improved production values make content more accessible to broader audiences. The art and science of ASMR continue evolving together, each advancement in technical capability opening new possibilities for creating the gentle sensory experiences that millions of people rely on for peace and comfort. As we drift toward the end of our journey through the world of ASMR, it's worth considering where this phenomenon might lead, both for individuals seeking comfort and for culture more broadly. What began as strangers describing weird tingles on internet forums has become a global movement that's changing how we think about relaxation, care, and the therapeutic potential of gentle stimulation. The normalization of ASMR represents one of its most significant achievements. Just a decade ago, admitting you watched whispering videos might have invited confusion or ridicule. Today, ASMR is recognized enough that major brands create ASMR advertisements. Celebrities openly discuss their ASMR experiences, and mainstream media covers the phenomenon with genuine interest rather than bemused skepticism. This shift toward acceptance means more people feel comfortable exploring ASMR and potentially benefiting from what it offers. The integration of ASMR into wellness culture seems inevitable and already underway. Spas are beginning to offer ASMR-inspired services. Treatments performed with intentional attention to the sounds created, practitioners trained to speak softly and move deliberately, environments designed for acoustic as well as visual comfort. Meditation apps incorporate ASMR elements into their offerings. Sleep clinics recommend ASMR videos alongside traditional sleep hygiene advice. This mainstreaming helps ASMR reach people who might never have discovered it through YouTube. Education about ASMR will likely become more widespread and sophisticated. As children who grew up with ASMR become adults, and as scientific understanding deepens, we might see ASMR education incorporated into health classes, stress management programs, and therapeutic training. Teaching people to recognize their triggers and use ASMR effectively could become a standard component of self-care education, as common as teaching meditation or breathing exercises. The commercial evolution of ASMR will continue, though hopefully in ways that preserve the authenticity that makes it effective. We're already seeing ASMR-specific products, from specialized microphones to trigger objects designed specifically for creating ASMR content. Subscription services offer exclusive ASMR experiences, while some creators offer personalized custom videos. The challenge will be maintaining the intimate, genuine quality that makes ASMR work, while building sustainable business models around it. Technological advancement will open new ASMR possibilities. Haptic feedback, technology that creates touch sensations, combined with ASMR audio could create even more immersive experiences. Augmented reality might overlay ASMR experiences onto real environments. Advanced AI might help individuals identify their personal trigger profiles and generate customized content. Each technological development offers potential for deeper, more effective ASMR experiences while also raising questions about authenticity and the importance of human presence. The scientific research agenda for ASMR remains extensive. Longitudinal studies tracking people who use ASMR regularly could reveal long-term effects on stress, anxiety, and overall well-being. Genetic research might identify biological bases for ASMR sensitivity. Clinical trials could establish efficacy for specific conditions, potentially leading to medical integration of ASMR-based interventions. Neurological research will continue mapping the brain systems involved in ASMR, deepening our understanding of sensory processing and emotional regulation. The globalization of ASMR will likely accelerate, with more creators from diverse cultural backgrounds contributing their perspectives and approaches. This diversity enriches the entire ASMR ecosystem, ensuring that people from all cultures can find content that resonates with their specific backgrounds and preferences. Cross-cultural exchange will continue generating innovation, as creators incorporate elements from various traditions and aesthetic approaches. ASMR's role in addressing loneliness and social disconnection deserves future attention. As societies become more atomized and traditional community structures weaken, people seek connection in new ways. ASMR provides a form of digital intimacy that, while not replacing face-to-face relationships, offers genuine comfort and connection. Understanding ASMR's place in the broader landscape of parasocial relationships and digital community will help us navigate the complex territory between healthy supplementation and problematic substitution of real relationships. The artistic legitimacy of ASMR seems poised to grow. As with other media forms that began as amateur internet content, ASMR will likely see increasing recognition as a genuine art form requiring skill, creativity, and technical expertise. Museums might host ASMR installations. Film festivals could feature ASMR work. Academic programs might study ASMR alongside other forms of performance and media art. This elevation needn't diminish ASMR's accessibility. High art and folk tradition can coexist, each enriching the other. The next generation of ASM artists will likely take the form and directions current creators can't yet imagine. Today's teenagers discovering ASMR and beginning to create content grew up with technology and creative tools that previous generations lacked. Their native fluency with digital media combined with fresh perspectives will produce innovations that push ASMR into new territory while hopefully maintaining the core qualities: gentleness, attention, care, that make it effective. The challenge for ASMR's future involves maintaining what makes it special as it grows. The intimate, genuine quality of ASMR exists partly because it developed outside commercial and institutional structures. As ASMR becomes more mainstream and monetized, preserving authenticity while supporting creators financially represents an ongoing tension. The community's values: emphasis on care, rejection of aggression, commitment to accessibility, will need conscious protection as ASMR continues evolving. Ultimately, ASMR's lasting contribution might be less about the tingles themselves and more about what they represent. A collective assertion that gentleness matters, that care deserves attention, that relaxation is valuable rather than indulgent. In a culture that often glorifies stress and busyness, ASMR stands as a quiet rebellion, insisting that there's value in slowing down, in being gentle with ourselves and others, in recognizing that peace and comfort are legitimate human needs deserving of serious attention and creative effort. The future of ASMR is ultimately whatever its community makes of it. Each person who discovers ASMR and finds comfort in whispers and taps adds to the collective understanding of what these gentle experiences can offer. Each creator who experiments with new triggers or approaches contributes to the art form's evolution. Each researcher who takes ASMR seriously enough to study helps build the knowledge base that will determine how effectively ASMR can serve human well-being. Tonight, we've journeyed together through the unexpected world of ASMR. From its grassroots origins in internet forums to cutting-edge neuroscience laboratories, from bedroom studios to mainstream recognition, we've explored the diverse triggers that create tingles, met the artists who have devoted themselves to crafting gentle experiences, and discovered how these simple sensory phenomena connect to fundamental human needs for care, attention, and comfort. We've seen how ASMR spans cultures while remaining deeply personal, how it serves therapeutic purposes while resisting full medicalization, and how it represents both ancient human experiences and thoroughly modern digital culture. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the science of tingles. If you're already drifting off, then our mission is complete, but if you're still awake, perhaps another deep dive will carry you gently into slumber. Until we meet again in these quiet hours, may you find comfort in gentle sounds, peace in careful attention, and moments of pure relaxation whenever you need them most.